Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some end of the year activities that are not necessarily end of the year activities, but maybe some activities that you could have done during the school year, but just didn't have time to get to. Or there could be some summer school activities that you're looking forward to doing with students that are enrichment and a little bit fulfilling activities that students are going to love. So let's go ahead and get started. The first one is a class novel. Now, you could do class novels anytime throughout the school year. I'm actually working on my second class novel right now, and I tend to do this around our state standardized testing because I want to make my classroom a little bit less demanding because there is so much pressure put on students during the state testing that I just wanted to give my class a novel time where they could follow along in the book. They are just listening to the audio. We have some discussions. We answer some questions in Google Classroom. And then we're going to get to watch a movie at the end, which goes into my number 2 activity, which is a film as literature week, where you are watching clips or movies, our TV shows, are just different pieces of film where students can have discussions around it, either looking at character perspective, dialogue, tone. And I usually do this actually around the holidays where I pick 5 different holiday type movies and I put them together and we look at something that has a reoccurring theme around. Doing a novel as your first activity and then having that movie as your second activity is a great way to really wrap up the school year. The next one is an autobiography, map my life, timeline, or draw my life type of activity, and students love this. And I actually create this based off of the Draw My Life videos that used to be very popular on YouTube years ago. I showed my students the Draw My Life video to get their wheels turning in their head on how they want to actually create their map of their life. And I give them a template that gives them prompts of what to put in their autobiography that they're going to create. And at the end of the project, they're going to create a map, which is kind of a drawn out map of what they did throughout their life. So where they were born, any significant life events, like if they moved to a new school, or they had a younger sibling, getting a puppy, traveling, things like that. Students love it. They're able to show their classmates a little bit about them, and their students always want to talk and share about themselves, and this is a great way to do. The next one is a class comic book. Now, the class comic book is very fun because students love graphic novels. We are actually using real life events, things that have happened throughout the school year. So as a class, we try to come up with at least 10 to 12 things that have happened that we will never forget as a classroom or as a school. And we put all those things together. It could be an assembly, it could be an award, something that funny that happened. It could be something that happened at lunch or PE or whatever the case might be, but something that they always remember as a group. And students will work on this either by themselves or in pairs, and they'll put their comic together. And when we have all of the comics drawn out and sketched out and colored, I will compile it into an actual book. Students give every student a copy to take home for the end of the year. The next one is writing a letter to incoming students. So I want my students who have had me before as a teacher to write a letter to students that I'm going to have at the beginning of the year. So my students are actually going to put a brochure together of what the class is like, what they can expect, what they think of me as a teacher, and what do they need to do as a student to make them a little bit more comfortable in getting prepared for the school year. So I teach middle school, and this is very helpful for students who are coming in as 6th graders or in another district coming in as a 7th grader, depending on when your students enter secondary school, to help students transition into that process and kind of ease where they're at, so the students know, like, hey, I made it through to the end of the year. So my students at the end of the year will write out the letter, create the brochure, and at the beginning of the year, on the first day of school, I pass these out to students and I show them these are actually from students who were where you are sitting at right now, who want to give you an idea what to expect this year and to ease some of your fears that you may have coming into middle school. And students love to read things from other students. And it's some students put like their Snapchat names or Instagram handles on the brochures. And it's just a great way for students to just ease their fears about being in middle school and just kind of getting an idea of knowing what to expect about me as a teacher and about the school itself. The next thing that I use as an activity is something I actually use a few times throughout the year, and that's futureme.org. Futureme.org is a place where you can write a letter to yourself and send it to yourself in the future. And when I say in the future, it could be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. You can send it a month from now and still get it. And it's a way of just tracking your goals and being accountable for yourself. My students, I actually had them do this during our time capsule lesson. And we do this again in January. And then I have them do it again at the end of the year. And if students are, depending on what grade that you have, if they don't have an email address, or they might think that they're going to move and not be in the district where they have our same district email address, they can send it to a personal email address, or you can have the option of mailing it to your students and having their letter go to them sometime in the future through mail. The next one is to make a memory book or a yearbook or autograph book, something where students can take something that's very personal that they create and draw and color and create it and pass it around instead of buying the expensive yearbooks, which at our school, I believe they're like $35. It's pretty expensive coming from when I was in school when they were only $10, and have students just go ahead and create something that they can use and hold on to for many years to come. I even go a little bit further and take my roster pictures, the picture that would be in the yearbook anyways for students, and print those out and put those and compile those together to get students started with their yearbook template. And if you need a yearbook template to use, I will link one down below for you as well. The last activity I have is for students to write a letter to their teacher. And since I teach middle school, my students have 7 teachers, and I will take their letters and deliver these out to their teachers. So I'll put them in the teacher mailboxes or I'll hand deliver them. And this is a great way to show teacher appreciation as well. And I also have a template. If you want a free template, I have one that I'll link down below for you to use in your own classroom. So those are all my activities that I do at the end of the year, and some that I weave in throughout the school year. But these are some great activities that you can do that has a lot of great student buy-in as well. And it'll be not just fun for students, but fun for you to teach and lead along the way. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.